Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that.
Now, Terrell, run the road again!
Hey guys! Hey! I'm having a press conference, okay?
Their fat little girlfriends have some obvious advantages. For one thing, their fat little girlfriends are telling them what they want to hear.
It's Division I football! Here, murals!
No, brother.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoppy Huddle podcast. Today, we've got week one. And boy, is it a big week. Week one preview. We got some betting picks for you. I'm excited. Are you excited?
We've got all kinds of. This is a great week one. We've got some good matchups. We're going to have some fun this week. Man, let's get going, man. Tomorrow night, it's happening. None of this week zero garbage. Ball games,
Yes.
24/7 for several days now.
Yeah. So I cannot wait to dive in. It is going to be, we got so many huge, usually week one, we don't always have like the most, barn burner of matchups, but boy, we are locked and loaded with great non-conference games this year. And yeah, I think we could be in for some really good games.
Don't get me wrong. We got plenty of FCS matchups. There's going to be,
There's
plenty
a
of
lot.
those. But we got some really good games, and television scattered them appropriately so we can watch them and see them. And boy, and then, some teams after week one, their fan base is going to be ready to strangle their coach, and they're going to give up on the team already after week.
I know there are a couple teams that come to mind. So I figure we want to go through some of the bigger games first, and then we can get into our betting picks if that's a good plan. All right, so I think we have to start out with probably, the highest ranked matchup of the weekend, a huge game, Georgia Clemson. What in neutral site in Atlanta,
That's
even
a
though
joke.
okay,
Joke.
whatever. Just play it on campus,
Look,
Howard.
yeah.
Seriously? You do a home and home.
I hate these neutral site games in Atlanta for Georgia or these whatever. All right, never mind.
Or whatever team. I don't care.
Yeah,
It doesn't have
why
to
do we
be
have
SEC.
neutral
I
site
hate neutral
games?
site games. There are only two neutral site games that should exist, and that's Red River Shootout and World's Largest Outdoor Cocktail Party. Those are the only two neutral site games.
I don't even think Florida and Georgia should go on campus. Imagine those games if they were on campus. But we digress. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
That one.
All right.
Okay.
Whatever.
But Clemson, Georgia.
So, Clemson, Georgia. I think this is a huge game for both programs. More so for Clemson than Georgia. I think Georgia is going to be fine whether they win or lose this game, even though I think it's probable that Georgia wins. They kind of got, they've got the arguably first or second most talented roster, depending on who you ask. They're absolutely loaded they're loaded in the secondary and on the outside rush on the defensive line. And they have two highly rated tight ends to replace Brock Bowers. Tight end by committee is going to be the way that they go. They've got some great wide receivers. Carson Beck is a Heisman contender, and he's back. Georgia is loaded all around, and it's going to be a mountain for Clemson to climb to beat them. Even though Clemson, in and of itself, is one of the most talented teams in the country. So it's not like Clemson's a non-talented team. That 13.5 is actually a lot of respect to Clemson, in my opinion. That 13.5, Georgia minus 13.5 is the line, because most teams it would be in the 20s at least. And there is, that's kind of my initial take. But what do you think?
Well, yeah, this is, first of all, it's a home game for Georgia. Let's call it what it is. I know Clemson's only, 2 hours away. So
Clemson's not that far
but it
Atlanta.
Still feels like a home game for Georgia. Yeah, you can say Clemson is a very talented team, but there's a big gap here, I think, because really the way Georgia is just recruiting at just that much of a higher level, and they go fill in gaps where they need to. They go get Etienne. Although
That's
I don't
true,
know
yeah.
if Etienne is playing in this game. I think there's rumblings that he may be suspended for this game, which would be interesting.
Interesting.
But I think the difference in this game, to me, is at the quarterback position. You have a Carson Beck, who's coming in as one of the Heisman Trophy candidate favorites. He's got confidence. Even though you've got new receivers and new tight ends, this is a guy that's coming back with ready to compete for a Heisman Trophy, ready to compete for a national championship. A lot of confidence. versus Cade Klubnik. Okay, year 2 in Riley's offense, but he looked shaky last year at times. To me, this is the difference in this game. You've got one quarterback that we know we're going to rely on, expecting real big things from him, that they showed he can do it, and the other, we're not certain if he can do it. And that's the difference to me in this ball game. FanDuel, who's if wants to sponsor the show, we'd love to have you.
That'd be
FanDuel
funny.
has Georgia a 13.5 point favor. Over and under is 48.5. I've got Georgia big time in this one. I think you lay the points, 13.5. I don't know about the over under. I'm leaning the under on this one, but I think they destroy Clemson in this one. I think Clemson's going to have a hard time. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think I had Clemson in the playoff. I still think Clemson could be 11-1, 10-2, but this is one of those losses.
Okay. Interesting. I have got kind of the opposite take on this, and we'll get to it in a little bit. Yeah, well, we'll get to it in a little bit, but I actually got to have a play from this game in my best bets. I think Clemson will keep it close, and that's why I think Clemson will cover the 13.5. I think, and here, let me tell you why. Because Clemson, Phil Maffa is a power running back. He is good. He is very underrated nationwide, but I think he is a top 10 running back in the country. Georgia, the one place where Georgia is weak on defense is on the interior of the defensive line. And that pairs perfectly with how Phil Maffa runs the ball. Big, downhill, up the gut. And I think one way that Clemson can slow down this game is a tough running game in combination with some deep shots of those new receivers they got in, and maybe running Klubnik a little bit as well. If they can kind of slow down the game, run the ball up the gut against Georgia's weaknesses, I think Clemson can keep it close, and I think they'll be able to cover. And also, Clemson's defensive line is just loaded. They moved Peter Woods out to edge, and that is he was good in the tackle position. You move him out to the edge, he's going to be destroying people. And that just shows you how deep they are at tackle. They've got 4 guys that could be starting at tackle.
Any other team they're playing, we wouldn't be talking about this. This is Georgia. This is one of those 2 teams that I've got in the national championship. Different level talent, different level athletes, deeper. We're going to disagree. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm not ready to say that Clemson wins, but I think they keep it close enough. Running the ball, slowing it down. I think they keep it close. I will say this with Maffa.
The offense got better last year when they went away from Shifley. I think he even got hurt maybe. And Maffa became the lead back. That's when they got on that hot streak and got better. So I do agree with you there. I think the offense is going to be okay this year. Absent Klubnik, this team's going to rely on whether Klubnik can make the passes when they need to. And I'm really curious to see Wesco on. I want to see what they do with Bryant Wesco on Saturday. By the way, did you see the pictures of him and Sweeney, I guess, had the freshmen over for a freshman team dinner. And Wesco's got the little new puppy from Sweeney. And he's in every picture's got Wesco holding this puppy. It's awesome. Great picture.
That's hilarious. I did not see that, no.
All right.
But, all right, I think it'll be interesting. Good game.
On ABC, I believe.
Okay, all right. Let's go down to where you will be on Saturday, and that is in Gainesville, Florida, in the Swamp. You've got Miami at Florida in a quasi rivalry. They don't always play, but they still hate each other type of vibe. And Miami they're the big boys this year. They're resurgent. They have all the talent. They have all the hype. And Florida is like, can we not get our coach fired and keep our recruiting class, please? And this is huge for both teams. It's huge for Florida because they want to try and build some momentum before they hit that gauntlet of a schedule. And to kind of get some good feelings around the program for Napier. And it's huge for Miami because they want to beat the fraud allegations, essentially. They want to show Miami, okay, we're real. We can run with the SEC this year. We're not just another overrated preseason Miami team.
Yeah, this is going to be a matchup. I mean, Miami's not going to make it easy for themselves going into the Swamp. I mean, that you talk about a 3:30 game in August.
Oh, it's going
to be hot. And it's going to be hot for both teams. But that crowd, first game of the season, that crowd will be on fire. And that stadium, 90,000 people. There might be a few Hurricane fans. I think they have a couple will be there. But it's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. And to me, you look at these teams on paper. Florida's got talent, but Miami is the more talented team. We expect more from them for the year. Defensive line may be among the best in the country. We expect a lot from Cam Ward. We expect some from the running game, receivers. You go down the list of that team. We expect this to be, at least I do, expect it to be a playoff team. We don't expect that from Florida, not because they're necessarily talented. You put them in the Big 12, and they might be one of my favorites in the Big 12, but they just play a brutal schedule. So everything leads me to saying, well, Miami should win this game. But here's where this is where I struggle in this game. And by the way, FanDuel has them at Miami a 2.5-point favorite, over under 54.5.
Yeah.
The Swamp is a tough place to play. And I think
it is.
It's going to be a terrible environment for Miami. Miami's not used to that. And it's particularly Cam Ward. This is going to be he didn't play in the Pac-12. I mean, come on. There are not a lot of environments like this in the Pac-12. This is going to be, and I think this Miami team will get better as the year goes on. I just don't believe they're going to be in peak form going into Gainesville. I think this is an offense that will be better in November than they will be in August. And on the flip side, Graham Mertz, again, second-year quarterback, kind of like Carson Beck. Everybody forgets Graham Mertz had a pretty good year last year. I know you didn't like him.
He did
last year.
No, I admit that he had a good year. I've admitted that. Everybody's wrong sometimes.
Graham Mertz, I think, is very comfortable in this offense. I think he is going to feel very comfortable in this home stadium with this offense. And even though I know they've lost a few weapons, you've got Eugene Wilson, though. I mean, I think he's going to feel really good on this game. To me, you got to protect him, though. And I think that's what you got to watch on. Can that defensive line get to him? If they do, then I think Miami's going to be in good shape. If they don't, I think Graham Mertz are going to score. And I tell you who I'm picking. Give me the Gators on the money line. Only Gators. Get out alive, baby. Give me the Gators on the money line.
All right.
Billy Napier lives on to fight another week. Miami's going to be upset about this game, but they can still go 11-1. So let's not ignore them. Okay, they're going to be okay.
All right, man. We are fighting everything today because I got Miami winning, and let me explain to you why. First of all, you're right about Cam Ward not facing these kind of environments, but I think, Mario's questionable and conservative coaching, I think actually helps Miami here because it will help keep Cam Ward in the box and from him kind of just going insane and throwing a bunch of things because Cristobal will kind of call a more conservative game, less opportunities to make big mistakes. Also, I think the matchup to watch for this game is Miami's pass catchers versus Florida's secondary. Florida's defensive line is good, you're right, but Florida's secondary is questionable at best. And Miami's got Restrepo, they've got the tight end that's really good that does transfer. Miami's pass catchers are the thing to watch here, and I think that is the biggest. Besides maybe Miami's D line, that's probably Miami's biggest strength relative to Florida is their pass catchers, and so I think the receivers and Miami's defensive line, if they can keep Miami's offensive line is also really good, but so is Florida's D line, so that'd be a fun matchup to watch. But I think that's kind of going to be the key to the game right there, and I think that Cristobal's conservative coaching nature actually helps Miami in this game because it's week one and you're trying to avoid the huge mistakes and avoid the jitters. And I think that will actually help Cam Ward in this week. And that's why I got Florida winning barely though. I don't think Miami's going to run away with it. I think it will be close.
Yeah, I do think the under 54 is a good bet if you're going to bet. Remember, only bet responsibly, folks, if you're going to bet.
Yeah, that is, I will say, that is one of my best bets is Miami at Florida under 54.5 at FanDuel. That is the move for sure. It's going to be insanely hot. There's going to be a lot of running the ball, muscling, people panting. It is going to be the under is the move for sure.
All right.
Where do you want to go next?
We're just rolling through the big games on Saturday. Let's go to the nightcap.
All right. That's Notre Dame at A&M, correct? Yes. So Notre Dame, Notre Dame at A&M. I got it backwards in my head and said it right. Notre Dame at A&M is really fascinating to me because you've got, Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame, and you've got Riley Leonard as the new Notre Dame quarterback. Notre Dame with a questionable offensive line against Texas A&M's very good defensive line. And you've got Texas A&M, Connor Wegman is coming back. Hopefully, if he stays healthy, we'll get to see a full season of him, hopefully. Got no more Jimbo at A&M. No more Jimbo. So, I don't know. I kind of waver on this game. I lean A&M mostly because that offensive line for Notre Dame just looks like. I mean, maybe
total starts for this group.
Oh, is it 6? I thought it was 8. Yeah. Okay, 6 total starts. Yeah. That just gives me a lot of pause. Now, there is a possibility that the freshman left tackle, that these guys are all studs and they just click. But that's very unlikely and more rare. And I think A&M just overpowers them on the line. And the only chance that Notre Dame's going to have is to have Riley Leonard just scrambling all the time. And that can lead to some mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, this game, the over-under is 46.5. I think it could be an ugly game for both offenses, perhaps, which leads me to a little bit to give the better quarterback the edge, which I think is Riley Leonard, especially with his legs. This is, while Elko, I like Mike Elko, and I think this is definitely not your typical rebuilding job. There's a lot of good talent on that A&M team. And I think Notre Dame's got a lot of talent. So Notre Dame, I'm going Notre Dame here, probably, plus 2.5. And I think they're going to win on the money line, actually, because I think Notre Dame really needs to win this. Because if they want to get to the playoff, they don't have a great schedule. So they lose this game, all of a sudden, where are the good wins going to be for them at the end of the year? And I also picked them to be in the playoff in my preseason pick, so I need them to win this game if they're going to make any picks. Yeah. So I got to start now. So I'm going to take Notre Dame. Probably I'll take them on the money line. I think they could win. I think Riley Leonard's going to give us a big time game.
Yeah, I disagree again. I'm taking A&M minus 2.5.
Listen, if you're watching this pod, we're not going to agree on anything tonight.
I swear this isn't scripted. Look, I have it written down right here. A&M minus 2.5. I think the line matchup is going to be too much. And Riley Leonard is very good at running the ball, but we haven't really seen him throw the ball consistently week after week. And he runs the ball and gets injured, and he makes some hero plays, but can he lead, a 12-play, 8-minute drive down the field where he doesn't have the option to scramble because he's bottled up by that defensive line? I don't know if he can do that against a good defense. And Elko's a good coordinator. He's a good defensive caller. I really like Colin Klein, A&M's offensive hire. I think he's going to be a head coach one day. I think him and Connor Wegman, it's just going to be too much for Notre Dame's defense. And that's why I got A&M winning and covering.
Okay. So we're just going to keep disagreeing. Well, let's go to the Sunday night special. A ranked matchup here Sunday night, which should be fun. And the networks decided to just put LSU on every Sunday night of the first weekend because it seems like they've been there every year now.
I swear it's been like that for 3 or 4 years now.
And I think they've lost the last couple of years too, haven't they? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what LSU. They must have pictures on somebody at the network or something.
Yeah, seriously. So USC, LSU. Neutral site. Where is it at again? Vegas. Okay. Yeah, at least it's not like neutral in New Orleans or neutral or neutral in the SoFi Stadium.
So no, it is Vegas. So LSU's a 4.5-point favorite in this game. What do you think?
I am not really sure who's going to win this game. I kind of don't know what to expect from USC's defense. Not much is my initial thoughts, but you never really know. And plus, LSU, their defense was very questionable last year as well, and they didn't really bring in that many people defensively in the portal. So I don't know. You got a lot of returning starters, but it's the age-old question: is returning starters good if the starters aren't good?
We'll keep running them out there. Maybe something different will happen.
yeah, maybe they'll get better. Maybe they will. I don't know. So I kind of don't trust either of these defense, which is why I am absolutely on the over 64.5 in this game.
Yeah. I think a lot of games
This is going to be a shootout.
I think a lot of unders will be this weekend. Honestly, if you're looking at lines, this is the one I'd hit the over.
This is over. So this is going to be a 62-45 game. There's no way. Like somebody might score. One team might score 64.5 points in this game.
Maybe a much, but I do think.
Yeah, I know. I'm exaggerating.
I think there's going to be some high scoring. From the preseason pod, I'm not sold on LSU, and I'm particularly not sold on Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's a notch down from Daniels. I think the defense hasn't improved. He's a notch down from Daniels. That's why I don't think this LSU team is that great. Now, we flip it to USC. Is Miller Moss, what's he going to be? I keep hearing these things that camp has gone pretty well. They're pretty happy with stuff.
I trust Lincoln Riley with quarterbacks.
And I keep hearing, okay, D'Anton Lynn and what they've done on the defensive side, that maybe, even though the talent's not that great, that maybe they're fixing it. So I keep hearing more positive things. I don't really trust LSU. I think USC is going to win this game.
I'd lean to agree with you there. Again, this is really probably the game I'm most uncertain of. I have no idea who's going to win. I lean USC mostly because I trust Lincoln Riley to win in a shootout more than I do Brian Kelly.
We'll see.
Just from a game management perspective. This should be a fun game to watch. Yeah, I don't know about Garrett Nussmeier. I'm not as down on him as you are. I'm not super sold on him like he's going to be the greatest thing ever. But
here's my thing on him. If you are so good in today's day and age, how many quarterbacks will we sit around for 3 or 4 years and wait their turn?
I think LSU paid him a lot of money.
Maybe. But I just don't. Most of the time you get lured into the portal, and there's plenty of other starting opportunities. So I don't know. We'll see. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Nussmeier. I probably will be wrong.
The Nuss Bus.
Yes. So those are some of the best matchups we have over the weekend. Those are obviously the key.
Yeah.
I think the big ones on the mothership over the weekend. But we've got some other really good matchups. Where do you want to go to next throughout the weekend? Do you want to start with Thursday night?
So I want to start with a team that is always in the news, and that is the Colorado Buffaloes.
That's a Thursday night special, isn't it? Tomorrow night.
That is a Thursday night game, I believe. And North Dakota State. This is Bison versus Buffaloes. North Dakota State is going to Colorado. And I don't know if you heard in the news today, but apparently Colorado accused Oregon of basically like stealing their practice footage last year. And I kind of think that would not have mattered at all because Oregon, because they had the plays. It wasn't that they got mauled at the line of scrimmage or anything. Typical Deion nonsense. I'm the old boomer that's getting kind of sick of it. I know everybody loves Deion. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Maybe he'll grow on me like Lane Kiffin did. I kind of hated Lane for a while, so maybe he'll grow, But I am confident in one thing, though. I'm confident that Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter can score a lot of points against an FCS defense. And I'm confident that Colorado will blow the doors off North Dakota State. Because if there's anything that Colorado wants to do, it's prove the haters wrong, Because of that, if they get up by even a little bit, they're pedal to the metal. They are not letting up. And so that's why I have Colorado minus 9.5 as an easy cover. And I even also bet alt line Colorado minus 13.5.
Alt line? I didn't even see which one.
There's a bunch. You can go as much as you want. I picked 13.5 because that's a pretty good number, like a 2-touchdown kind of thing. I would recommend if you're going to do an alt line, this is the game to do it. Pick a number and bet that because Colorado is going to win by 2 or 3 scores at a minimum, in my opinion.
I am all over that as well. I mean, we finally agree on something. I think Colorado's going to. I think they're just going to rush North Dakota State. Now, I don't know if they're going to hit the over/under of 59.5, but I just don't know. Who knows in a lot of these game ones, you never know how many times they're going to leave the starters in. Week one.
But Colorado will
probably. But yeah, I think this is a done. In my opinion, this is all. They're going to put on a show because tomorrow night that's one of the main games. Obviously, I think.
Yeah, and they want the attention, they want the show, they want the hype, and saying like, oh, look at us, look how we won by this many points, until they run into a good team and get the snot beat out of them. But
I think that. That will be a fun game to first game of the season. I kind of like having that on a Thursday night. Just kind of, of course, I don't know if I'm sure television put it there for a reason.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, where do you want to go next?
Let's stay with Thursday night games. I want to talk about North Carolina, Minnesota. And this is what I call a bowl matchup. Because to me, the winner of this game is going to go bowling.
The quick lane
the
bowl.
loser of this game will not go bowling this year. So.
Oh, I thought you were saying like this feels like a quick lane bowl. Like this feels like a bowl game. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't love the fact that Carolina is going to be playing alternating quarterbacks. I'm a true believer in that saying. If you don't have one, if you have two quarterbacks, it means you don't have one. So I'm going to take, Carolina's a 1.5 favorite. Give me the 1.5 points. I'll take Max Brosmer. What's his name? Brosmer from the University of New Hampshire. Brosmer, whatever his name is. I don't know what his name is. The quarterback coming up from Chip Kelly's old school and Ryan Day's old school. I'll take the Golden Gophers to go 1-2.
Interesting. So I don't have a bet on this game. I'm kind of it's kind of a crapshoot. You never know what North Carolina is going to show up or not. I will note that Minnesota lost their number one receiver today. He's out.
I didn't see that today.
So yeah, or number two receiver. Either their number one or number two. They lost the main receiver this week today to injury. So that makes that I was leaning maybe Minnesota, but now I'm kind of a toss-up. I have no idea who's going to win. And although it doesn't really matter that much because Minnesota's run the ball so much. They have one of the highest run pass percentages of anybody. So I don't know does it really matter that much. Again, I'm so uncertain on this game. I don't have a bet, but I would say I probably lean Carolina to win.
Of course, not my anti-Carolina bias doesn't come in anywhere in this pick. So.
No, I'm sure definitely not. Row the boat, right?
The only other real game we got tomorrow night. We got a ranked team playing. We got Oklahoma, 10 p.m. Eastern, out in Norman. They're a 42.5 point favorite over Temple. I wouldn't touch this as a betting thing, but my guess is they'll probably cover that game against Temple.
Yeah.
And then we get to Friday night. Any matchups intrigue you for Friday night? Your favorite team plays Friday night.
What team?
No.
Oh, Baylor? No, Baylor plays Saturday. Yeah, TCI at Stanford, right. Yeah, no, I don't have any. I didn't list them by day, so I have them all mixed up on my thing. But
I guess Florida Atlantic. That's Tom Herman.
So I do have Tom Herman at FAU, yeah. I do have one more best bet that we have not gotten to yet, and this is JMU minus 8.5.
Who are they playing?
Over Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte's good.
Because there was a whole thing with Biff Poggi doing a really weird press conference where he was like, yeah, dude, we have 9 people out on injury. And I saw a bunch of people on Twitter speculating what is he trying to manipulate the lines or what is going on here? Some people were saying it was a quiet suspension. Somebody said that they saw a bunch of players out at a bar in a fight on Twitter, but that's unconfirmed. So don't run with that. I don't know what's going on at Charlotte, but I'm taking JMU to cover.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about JMU yet. It's a real big turnover.
If Charlotte's missing 9 starters, which is what Biff Poggi said at the press conference. Now he could be lying, but I'm gonna take him at his word, and I'm gonna take. I think JMU is a better team than Charlotte for sure, especially with Charlotte missing players.
Okay.
So.
Well, I don't have any on Friday night. There's some games. I'll flip on TCU and Stanford just to see what that looks like. TCU you better not get caught looking at that game. I don't don't think Stanford's going to win, but if TCU loses that one, it's going to be a long season for the Horned Frog. Saturday at noon, we got another good game on another channel at the same time, Clemson, Georgia. We got Penn State going to West Virginia.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, we need to touch that as well. Yeah, Penn State at West Virginia.
That's a tough matchup for the Nittany Lions. Nobody likes to go to West Virginia and play. It's a tough place to play. It's, I don't care how good or bad West Virginia is, they're going to play you tough. There's a lot of teams that have gone in there thinking they're going to beat West Virginia. They just can't. Penn State's an 8.5 point favorite. I think the Lions come down. I think they were 10 points at one point. This is supposedly a playoff ready team, this playoff ready for Penn State. But they better be ready week 1 because those Mountaineers are going to bring it. I don't think they're not afraid of this Penn State team. And I mean, I think this team's going to give them a hard fight. I don't think West Virginia is going to win. And I'm excited to see what the Penn State offense is going to do with their new offensive coordinator. I really want to see, is it going? Are they going to open it up more, or are they going to be more exciting? Or is James Franklin still going to be controlling the strings there? But if West Virginia, we're going to get it. We're going to get an upset, aren't we? Somewhere this weekend. Could this be it? Maybe.
It could be. I don't think so. I have Penn State covering in this because, first of all, I love the Kansas offensive system. I got to watch that a lot in the Big 12, and their offensive coordinator is now at Penn State. So I love that system. I think it's really great. I also think that, the line has come down, and I think that's good. Give me Penn State minus 8.5 versus minus 10. I'll take it. I think Penn State is much more talented. I think West Virginia took advantage of an easy schedule last year, and good for them. And I like Neil Brown, and I hope they succeed. I think Penn State tends to blow past everybody not named Ohio State and Michigan, and I don't see. They didn't lose a lot of talent. I don't see any reason why that's not going to be the case again this year.
Aller threw for 300 yards and several touchdowns in this game last year, so I don't expect anything different. So another matchup, which I'm trying to look at my list here. I'm intrigued, and I won't be able to catch this live. I'll have to go back and watch some. I just want to see Dylan Raiola make his Nebraska debut. They're big favorites against UTEP. I just want to see how he looks. I'm going to go back and watch that later. I'm going to record that and take a look at that. What other games on Saturday? I'm kind of scrolling through my list.
I got a little upset notice, probably not watch it, but maybe keep an eye on the box score if it's close. South Dakota State at Oklahoma State. Because let me tell you what, South Dakota State is one of the best FCS teams. They are always good. Didn't they beat North Dakota State last year?
I don't follow it.
I'm trying to remember. Anyway, it's always one of the two of them. And Oklahoma State, Mike Gundy has this nasty habit of losing 2 games every year that he has no business losing. Last year they lost 38-0 to South Alabama, randomly, and then made the Big 12 title game. What the crap was that? So I don't know if that's actually going to be competitive. Oklahoma State should destroy them, but that's one of those games where it's keep an eye on it. That's kind of a little upset possibility. I got another one. That was the one I circled. I got another one that I don't think they're going to lose, but I would pay a little attention if I was UCLA going out to Hawaii. Okay.
I mean, they're 13.5 point favorites, 14.5 point. The line's 14.5. Hawaii didn't impress me last week. I thought they played better, but UCLA lost a lot. They clearly probably still more talent than Hawaii, but something like that. I just think you got to be careful. We got a lot of FCS games, man. A lot of lower tier games. Ohio State's playing Akron. It's 40. You can't even bet that on the money line. It's a 48.5 point spread. Let's see. Texas is playing.
Texas is playing Colorado State. I've seen some people interested in the spread on that one, but I don't think this really does anything for me.
I'm trying to think. There's no other matchups there. Alabama plays Western Kentucky. I don't think there's going to be any different. That's just more interesting to see how they play. Ole Miss is playing Furman. That's a joke. That's not going to be challenging. Baylor's playing Tarleton State. That Baylor better put up some points and win that one, or else it's going to be a long season.
Yeah, we cannot lose to Texas A&M's B school. Did you? By the way, that Tarleton State is part of the A&M system.
Michigan plays Saturday night at home against Fresno State.
Yeah, that's another one I would watch just a little bit. Fresno is not a bad team, and Michigan should clobber them. But maybe they're a little cold. Maybe they have quarterback issues. Little tricky. Michigan should destroy them, but maybe in the little star next to it, keep an eye on it.
Oregon plays Idaho. They're 44-point favorites. Auburn plays Alabama A&M 46.5. So we're going to see. There's just not a lot of Georgia Tech.
we have a lot of top matchups, but not a lot of like mid-tier matchups.
Yeah, we really don't. I'm scrolling through. The other game, which we did not, and this is the last game I guess I want to talk about, the Monday night matchup. Let's go back to Florida State. Home opener against Boston College. They're 16.5-point favorites. I mean,
wouldn't it be hilarious? No, I fade I fade Boston College
I don't
all
think
year.
even
so,
Castellanos, I don't think he can recreate magic there.
No,
I would think Florida State wins this one easily, but
I think they come out with revenge and they kill them.
Man, if that game's close at halftime, I want to be on Twitter or X. I want to just be watching that. That will be pure entertainment. The people will be going nuts if this game's close at halftime. So,
yeah. Vanderbilt at Virginia or Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt.
That one. Yeah.
Is kind of a trappy game. I considered betting this, but I ended up not. I think it's 13.5.
I take Vandy.
I think. Let me double check that actually.
I can't see that in Virginia because it's blocked. They're Virginia school, Virginia Tech. So you can't see it.
Yeah, so it's Tech minus 13.5. I thought about Vandy plus the point.
Tech should win that easily if they're as good as think
Tech
they are.
should win it, and I don't know.
But we went through this in the preseason forecast. Their talent level is not that much different than Tech's. So
that's true, but I think Kyron Drones is significantly better than who Vanderbilt has at quarterback.
But man, I'll be pulling for Vandy. Go Common.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Richmond at Virginia. You know, they better win that one.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that one if they lost.
Yeah, that's basically all we've got. We've got some other random games. I'll definitely be tuning into the Nebraska just to see that. Got the debut of the new teams like Kennesaw State. Another one, Miami, Ohio at Northwestern. There's not a lot of times where you could see a MAC team beat a Big Ten team, but this is certainly a possibility. Miami, Ohio, either the best or the second best team in the MAC. They've got a good quarterback and at least one decent wide receiver. So the only reason I know that is because I'm in a MAC Dynasty League in College Football 25. But so I maybe star that one as well. Possible upset watch. Northwestern, not having a huge home field advantage.
39. My goodness, we're almost approaching Iowa levels.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Speaking of Iowa, where were they on? So, I don't even.
Where did Iowa plays somebody. Oh, Illinois State at Iowa, I think.
I knew it was
yeah, whatever. Okay. Some random team. But
it's just good to have all these games.
That's kind of all I got.
Yeah, that's about all I got too. We got some good matchups. It's going to be fun to watch some others. There's going to be one game that's going to pop up out of nowhere that we're all going to turn to. We go.
Oh, it always happens. It's going to be like some random State Tech A&M versus the 23rd ranked team, and everybody will be like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah, it'll be great. So,
and I can't wait for it. So
now I think we're not going to be able to do a reaction show given some travel constraints between you and I over the next week.
Okay.
And I also think we're not going to be able to do a week 2 preview, unfortunately. This will be the 1 week where we're not going to be able to do it. So for our loyal listeners, we apologize. We plan to do a reaction show every week and a preview.
The one guy watching our show.
The one guy that's watching our show. Just there were some weird circumstances the next 8 or 9 days between both of us that we can't connect. So we're going to go a week. But we should be able to do a week 2 reaction show on Saturday, September 6th, either that Saturday or Sunday. We'll tweet it. We'll put it out on Instagram. Let everybody know when we have that reaction. We may be able to do it that Saturday night, Jake, right after the games if you want to play.
Yeah, that may be possibly. And I might do like a solo show or like an Instagram live solo reaction on either Saturday night or Sunday.
I just don't know.
But depending on the schedule, I might not be able to.
Yeah, we'll just see. But we apologize. Anybody who is watching this, just this week is just one of those weird weeks where just a couple things have gone differently and can't make it work. But we're going to try to be pretty consistent with a reaction show on the weekends, either Saturday night or Sunday night, and then hopefully a pick show, preview show, usually on Wednesday nights, could be Thursday nights, depends on the week. We do have lives. We're not paid to do this. This is just us having fun.
I have a job. He has a job.
We have things to do. So sometimes that interferes. But if anybody wants to pay us to do this
Yeah.
full time, we'll take your money.
Yeah. If any of you guys want us to make a Patreon,
Yes, we'll
like,
do Patreon. Absolutely.
we'll do
Yeah.
all of it. I'll take your money.
We'll set up a good private.
know,
We'll set up a
I can use it.
Discord. I mean, we'll take.
We'll do
Yeah,
the whole
absolutely.
thing. Yeah, whatever. Just if you want to grow the show, just make sure to subscribe and like all the videos. And we've gotten some views, but some people are watching it and not liking the video.
like the
so
video.
It makes me wonder.
So,
Like the video, subscribe, follow on Twitch, follow on Spotify. We've got like 4 followers on
Are we up on
Spotify
Spotify
now.
now?
Podcasts going up on
What about
Spotify.
iTunes?
Yeah. So we got the video. We're not on iTunes. They're being a
Okay.
pain.
We're gonna get
It's coming
get there.
eventually, but yeah. So we've got definitely some people on Spotify. We got follow me on Twitter at Real Hopster. I am now followed by Barstool Sikkim and John Cena. So yeah, I'm making it big. Some may say, but no. Also follow on Instagram at the Hoppy Huddle, YouTube the Hoppy Huddle, and Twitch the Hopster. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I'll see you
enjoy the game. Let it go.
around.
You only
See you
got
next
13
time.
minutes.
Enjoy the games. College football is back, everybody. All right. See ya.